One of the central aspects of virtue, and as it relates to philosophy in particular, is the idea of self-regulation. It will never be the case that there's always somebody looking over your shoulder making sure you're doing the right thing. No matter how many rules and regulations and laws and policies you have, people's behavior will follow from the rules they impose on themselves. So the idea behind virtue ethics is that there's some conception of what a human being ought to be that you've internalized. And this forms a background from which you can then go on to do all the behaviors you engage in, from being a parent to getting married to running a business to being a professor. One of the beauties of virtue ethics is that, well, the beauties and I'll say the dangers as well, is that it does rely on the person's own conception. So in the highest sense, for Aristotle, for example, one thinks about what kind of person do I want to be? And this allows you to organize and regulate your behavior from day to day, from activity to activity. It's not what are the rules that someone has laid out for me, and here are 10 of them or 20 of them, and I follow those, and that's all I have to do. And that's a very important difference, because if you have, say, just 20 rules, and this is, I think, where danger can come in with respect to things like business that we've seen recently, people mistake, instead of asking themselves, what sort of businessman do I want to be, what sort of human being, what sort of man do I want to be, they say, well, what are the rules that are in place, and how can I exploit them? It's a very different mindset. If morality is encompassed by just a set of prescribed rules and nothing else, well, then that allows people to play them. It's like a game then, and the winner then is the one who can exploit the spaces between the rules. That's a very different conception of what a moral person should be from asking yourself, well, what is a virtuous person, and how do I behave that way in any of the circumstances I find myself in?